Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you catch this. Just want to take a little time and talk about a subject area real quick. I have an ebook available on Amazon titled "What Are You Afraid Of?" Not expensive, not long at all, but it's a motivational ebook telling you a little bit about my motivational journey and things like that. Nothing to extenuate or anything like that. But I want to touch base a little bit today on an area that a lot of people in society seem to have a problem with. And we can speak life and death, or we can speak our life into good, or we can speak our life into bad. And I don't care who disagree with me. That's their problem. That's their issue. We need to speak what it is that we want. And I believe that. The problem with many of us is we've been speaking things into our lives that we don't want. Our lives are already a reflection of the things we've spoken so far. I mean, look at it. If you wanted to attend a certain school, when someone asked you, you spoke it. If you had your heart set on a certain vehicle, you said you said what the vehicle was that you wanted. If you wanted a certain job in a certain industry, you spoke it. I mean, when you were asked what you want to do for a living, you spoke it. If you wanted certain qualities in a mate, or certain qualities you didn't want in a mate, you spoke it. If you desired to live in a certain area, you more than likely said you wanted to live there. When your high school counselor asked you what were your plans after high school, you told him or her you wanted to go to college, the military, or trade school. You spoke it. If you were like me and you watched someone else play sports, you said you wanted to do it. Growing up when I was a young boy, I didn't even know, because I've never been a big TV watcher. So I had no idea about the NFL. My mom and my aunt were great athletes in track. And so guess what I was doing as a little boy? I was running track. I ended up going to a football game. I saw one of my cousins playing football one day, and I said, hey, I want to play football. And so I spoke it. Someone asks you how you feeling, depending on if you're doing good or bad, you tell them. So you spoke it. When you decide to take a trip, you verbalize where it is you want to go. And according to a study, 67% of the people surveyed said they were dissatisfied with their job and were disengaged at work. Now, they get off work more than likely. A lot of times they go to happy hour, go drink, whatever. They complain to their spouse or significant other that they're dissatisfied or satisfied with the job or certain aspects of it. So they're speaking their dissatisfaction on a regular basis. I would almost bet that the people in that study, of those 67%, almost 67% of them speak about what it is that they don't like about the job. And sure, all of us have aspects of the job that we don't particularly care for, but voicing that displeasure publicly actually makes it worse, because you're speaking it into existence. Think about Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali didn't have all of the physical traits that they measure great boxers by. He didn't have the physical makeup of a great boxer, but he had quickness and a brilliant mind. How do we program our minds? We program our minds with the information we feed it through what we input by seeing, reading, and speaking. It's just like programming a computer. You sit at a computer, you have to input information to get that computer to work properly. Well, in order to get your computer to work properly, your computer is your brain, you have to input information through seeing, reading, listening, and speaking. And so Muhammad Ali was known for one phrase more than anything, and that phrase was, I am the greatest. Well, look at his career. Did he bag those words up? Because he was programming his mind. And for those of you that followed boxing, he would also say he floated like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And when we look at his career, he was the greatest. He spoke it, but he also followed it with action. See, many people want to speak, do nothing, and then say speaking things don't work. No, you got to follow that up with some action. Those who don't believe in affirmations normally don't put any work behind the words, so they believe affirmations don't work. It's not that affirmations don't work, it is they don't work. So their lives end up drawing a vacuum, meaning it sucks. You can draw comparisons to people who believe in affirmations and people who don't. And I would just leave it right there. If your parent or boss tells you to do something, they spoke the future into existence. When we go to a restaurant, even though the food exists already, we have to speak to the server and tell them what it is we want. Everything we ask for is already in existence. But we have spent most of our lives speaking crap words, and so we've received a crap life. We actually live at the level that we speak, no other way. Do you say you can't afford something? Well, do I need to ask if you really have it? You spoke that you cannot afford it, so the mind doesn't work on ideas to help you get it. The mouth programs the mind, and then our minds deliver to us the things we have programmed it through the mouth. But like I said, you also have to follow that with action. Think about your relationship. However you met, there were some qualities that made you say, I like him or her. You spoke it. And since you spoke it, you did what you could to get closer to that person. You spoke it, and then you put action behind it. I remember the first time I met my wife. When I met her, I told her I was coming back to her job that night after she got off and told her I was taking her to dinner. Of course, as a woman, she didn't believe me, and she never thought she would see me again. And since I'm a man of my word, I showed back up at closing time when she got off, and we went out to dinner. And the rest is pretty much history. If speaking had no value, why do we say be a man of your word or be good for your word? What is your word? You speaking it. That's because our words carry power. My dad always told me, once you lose your word, you've lost everything.